behind closed doors. I'm a fool for your love.
Guys, another Geek123 here. So today's video I'm going to go through the development and release of The Incredible Hulk, the second film in the MCU and the only Hulk film in the MCU. So let's get into it. So first, the development. Around the release of Ang Lee's Hulk, screenwriter James Schmoes, I think that's how it's pronounced, sorry if I did not, was planning a sequel to the film that would feature the Grey Hulk. He also considered putting the leader and the Abomination as villains. He thought that they would be bigger threats to the character than General Ross. But since the movie didn't do that well and the Universal Studio did not meet the deadline to film the sequel, Marvel thought that it would be best to stop Ang Lee's Hulk franchise before it even begins, and made a deal with Universal to put Hulk in be the second film in the MCU, while Universal still owned the rights to the character. Now for the pre-production. Louis Leterrier, sorry if I pronounced that wrong and if I pronounce it wrong for the rest of the video, who enjoyed the TV series and the first film, really wanted to direct the Iron Man movie, but Jon Favreau taken that film, so Marvel offered him to make a Hulk movie. Letterier's inspiration for the film was Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's Hulk Grey, which was a retelling of the character's first appearance. He also looked at other Hulk media in the comics and pinned panels up on the wall and put them ideas into the movie. He wanted to show Bruce's struggles, while Feige wanted to show him overcome his control of the monster. Avi Arad also said the movie would focus on Bruce and Betty's relationships as well. Zach Penn, who wrote a draft of the 1996 film, I think it got cancelled, I'm not entirely sure. It was very controversial, not going too much into it, but there was a scene where Hulk literally tried to have sex with Betty. Realised that thing was too big. Yep, thank God that didn't make it.
Sorry, I just forgot my... Wow, that's the smallest I've ever seen.
Anyway, after Marvel rejected a treatment by another screenwriter in 2006, Penn returned with Marvel and wrote 3 drafts to help them before leaving in 2007 to promote his film, The Grand. Norton, who was in the talks to play Bruce in that April, he also offered to write, so the studio said that he had to write a draft in a month. He did so and continued to polish the movie while principal photography was happening. And he was also playing the character at that time, so props to the guy. Shortly after the release of the film, Gale and Hurd commented on how the team felt the movie and its similarities with Lee's film. When they finished on it, they felt that it was a reboot and a sequel to the film that retold his origin, but carried on the story of the character more. The film also had stuff added into the origin story that is from the Ultimate Marvel's take on the Hulk, which also had him create his disaster from an attempt on creating the Super Soldiers. There was also originally Rick Jones and more presence of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the movie after Iron Man's ending in the film, but Norton removed Rick, who hasn't been in the MCU since, and torn down S.H.I.E.L.D. He also rewrote scenes every day, but there was some controversy. The writers Guild of America, I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm British, by the way, so please don't take that in offence. Decided to credit the movie's script to Penn, who argued Norton just altered his version of the screenplay and changed nothing after that. But they obviously also read Penn's drafts and seen it was basically mostly the same thing and agreed. This also made Penn say in public he wasn't happy that Norton said at the Comic-Con before this, saying he wrote the film, when he only changed things in it. Now for filming. Lederer had to direct 4 units, with a broken foot since he broke it before the start of filming, which began in July 9th, 2007. Shooting primarily took place in Toronto because the mayor David Miller, a big fan of the Hulk character, promised to be helpful with the crew closing Yonge Street for 4 nights in September to shoot the Hulk and the Bolonsky fight. The team also took 20 minutes cleaning some scenes after they were filming, even though there was some explosion stuff and cars on fire around that time. The first action sequence shot was the Culver University battle, which was filmed at the City of Toronto and Morningside Park. The filmmakers built a glass wall over a walkway at the university for when the soldiers trap Bruce inside and to smoke him out. They were also shooting in the financial district, particularly a factory in Hamilton, Ontario, if I'm right, which was for the destruction of the Brazilian factory. Other Canadian locators were CFB Trenton and the Glacier in Bella Coola, and also which was in British Columbia. After the Canada filming, there was a week-long shoot in New York and a 2-week shot in Rio de Janeiro. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Filming finished in November after 88 days of filming. Now for post-production. For editing, 70 minutes of footage was mostly dealing with the origin were taken out of the original cut. Most of the footage was improved and put in as small details to the backstory, and felt that it wasn't needed, and thought about releasing some online. Editor Kyle Cooper, who was also the creator of the famous Marvel flipping page intro, ended up taking most of the footage instead and editing it into a montage for the opening credits. Norton and Lederer disputed with the producers over the final runtime. They wanted it near 135 minutes, which is 2 hours and a quarter, while the producers just wanted it 2 hours. This for a while made it controversial since Norton stopped making public appearances, while saying he was ill, and he was also being accused of faking it by fans and many other people since he was back appearing after Marvel did make the film his length, which in my opinion makes his reputation very bad in my seeing. Now for effects. They used motion Norton and Roth's films. Now for the effects. They used motion capture, which ended up making Norton and Roth film 2,500 takes of different movements and the monsters would make. Krill Raphael also provided motion capture for stunts and fights. Lederer hired Rhythm and Hughes to provide the CGI instead of industrial light and magic that are usually hired to create visuals, even for Ang Lee's Hulk as well. Dale Neu's comic book artwork for the Hulk was inspiration of the visual design. Lederer decided this was because he felt that the first Hulk with CGI looked like it had too much fat and his proportion a bit off. Kurt Williams, head of visual effects Superior, also said that the Hulk's physique is more like a linebacker than a bodybuilder. The height of the character was also chosen to be 9 feet because they didn't want him to be too inhuman. To also make him more expressive, programmers made the saturation of his skin show emotions. The team also decided that his green blood would make his skin darker than lighter. His hair was also based on Mike Donatello's art. They also added a reference to the classic TV show to the design by making the Hulk's eye colour be different from Bruce's. Now for the music. The score was composed by Craig Armstrong, who worked on the Unleashed music, who later also directed. The soundtrack was released on a 2-disc album as well. Now for marketing. Effort was made to promote the story as having a romance and physical antagonist. Burger King also promoted the film and General Nutrition Centers they used the character as a role model for strength training.
I'm Hulk and I will defeat you!
Okay, my turn.
I am the Hulk. I am Abomination.
Oh, I'm the Hulk. I'm so sad. I don't know how to defend myself. My
Right now at Burger King, you can collect all 6 Incredible Hulk toys, 1 per kids meal. Incredible Hulk toys are now at BK.
Hasbro once again created action figures, while Sega made a video game, which released on June 5th, 2008. The team at Universal also made sure for the film wouldn't be interviews for Norton due to editing dispute, and made sure he was in more skits to promote the film. Now for the release. The movie premiered on June 8th, 2008 at the Gibson Hampshire Theatre in Universal City, California, and was released in theaters on June 13th in the USA. It also opened in 3,505 theaters. The movie was also released on Blu-ray and DVD on October 21st, 2008 in the US. It includes behind-the-scenes footage, audio commentary, deleted scenes, and an altered opening. It was also released earlier in the UK on October 12th, 2008, and it was number 1 for a couple of weeks in both countries. So guys, that was the production and re-releases of The Incredible Hulk. Probably the best Hulk film in my opinion, but it's not that good of a film to me. Hulk is a weird character in cinema, but I think they handled him well, implementing his story in MCU movies, and I think they could make a sequel in the MCU if they did it right, and Mark Ruffalo had more opinions about the character. What are your thoughts on this movie and the character of the Hulk in the MCU? And if you have any more information about this type of stuff with the film, please comment down below or go to my most recent tweet at AnotherGeek1231. So thank you guys for watching, peace.